Right now, a specific type of shopper is moving through grocery stores and warehouse clubs with a very short list. No cart full of freeze-dried buckets, no doomsday inventory, just 9 items, most of them under $5 each, that are either already showing consistent shelf gaps, already up significantly in price, or both. You will not see a news segment about this. These are not dramatic shortages. They are quiet ones, the kind that show up as a partially stocked row one week, a temporarily unavailable tag the next, and then nothing after that. 9 items. By the end of this video, you will know what they are, exactly why each one is disappearing, and what it actually costs you to wait. Let's get into it. Number 9, canned coconut milk. 3 years ago, a 13-ounce can of full-fat coconut milk ran about $1.50 at most grocery chains. Today, that same can is regularly priced at $2.80 to $3.20, and availability has become genuinely inconsistent across multiple retail regions. Here's why, and the mechanism matters. Roughly 85% of the world's exported coconut milk originates from 3 countries: Thailand, the Philippines, and Indonesia. All 3 have faced compounding production pressure simultaneously. Thailand has documented a sharp decline in domestic coconut yields, tied to aging tree stock. Most coconut palms producing commercially today were planted 40 to 60 years ago. A coconut palm's productive lifespan peaks around 15 years and declines significantly after 40. Replanting programs exist but take a minimum of 6 to 8 years before a new tree produces at a commercial volume. That gap does not close quickly. At the same time, domestic consumption of coconut products has surged across Southeast Asia, meaning less supply is available for export even before accounting for the yield decline. The nutritional case is specific. Full-fat canned coconut milk is one of the only shelf-stable sources of medium-chain triglycerides, a fat the body processes differently from other dietary fats and converts to energy faster than most caloric sources. For households relying on grain-heavy pantries, that fat profile is nearly impossible to replicate from other canned sources. Shelf life runs 2 to 5 years unopened. The window to buy at a price that still makes sense is narrowing. Number 8, canned chickpeas. This one surprises people because chickpeas still look fine on most shelves, but the underlying supply picture has already shifted in ways that are not yet reflected in availability, only in price. Global chickpea production is dominated by 3 countries: India, Australia, and Canada. In 2022 and 2023, Australia experienced significant crop failures in key chickpea growing regions tied to erratic monsoon patterns. Canada's output has been volatile since the 2021 heat dome event that damaged pulse crops across British Columbia and Alberta. And India, which both produces and consumes the majority of its output domestically, has implemented export restrictions during periods of domestic price pressure, cutting off the international supply channel with almost no warning. When 3 of the world's 4 largest producers face simultaneous disruption and one actively restricts exports, the price signal arrives before the shelf gap does. Canned chickpea prices are up roughly 35 to 40% in 24 months at major US retailers. The practical case is strong. Chickpeas are one of the few shelf-stable complete protein sources that also provide meaningful fiber and iron. In any pantry scenario where fresh protein is unavailable for an extended stretch, that combination matters. Shelf life in the can runs 3 to 5 years. They function across cuisines, they do not require any additional ingredients to eat, and they are still broadly available at a price that has not yet caught up to where the supply picture actually is. Number 7, shelf-stable tofu. Most people do not know this product exists. That is the entire story of why it matters. Aseptic packed shelf-stable tofu, the kind that requires no refrigeration until opened, has a shelf life of 12 months or longer. It is widely stocked across Asian grocery chains and has been for decades. In mainstream grocery retail, it is significantly harder to find, and the producers making it at commercial scale for the US market are few. Soybeans themselves are facing a pricing and availability pressure that compounds the problem. The US and Brazil account for the majority of global soybean exports. In 2023 and 2024, Brazil's soy harvest faced weather disruptions that reduced output. At the same time, rising soybean demand for biofuel production in the US is pulling supply away from food manufacturing and toward energy, a structural competition that does not resolve. Shelf-stable tofu is not a niche item in a nutrition context. It delivers a complete amino acid profile, roughly 8 grams of protein per half cup serving, and meaningful iron and calcium in a format that requires 0 refrigeration and retains that nutritional value for over a year. For households that have never bought this, the format transition is minor. The supply and price trend is not. Number 6, rolled oats, bulk format, not the individual packet oatmeal, not the store brand canister. the 25 or 50 pound bulk bag. Retail oat prices have increased approximately 30% over the past 2 years, driven by weather-related crop shortfalls in Canada's prairie provinces, which supply a significant share of North American oat production. But the price increase is not the main issue. The availability of bulk format, specifically, is the problem. When food manufacturers face margin pressure, they prioritize the highest turnover SK. Individual portion packets and standard canisters move faster and at better margins than 25-pound bags. Bulk formats are already showing reduced restocking frequency at warehouse stores, with some regions reporting that 50-pound bags have effectively disappeared from shelves without being formally discontinued. Oats, sealed in mylar bags with oxygen absorbers, maintain full quality for 25 to 30 years. The same oats in a paper bag start declining in 12 to 18 months. That packaging gap is not minor. It determines whether you're buying a pantry staple or a multi-decade food asset at the same price per pound. The window to find bulk format at warehouse prices is closing before most people notice it is a window at all. Number 5, apple cider vinegar, gallon format. This is the item on this list with the most overlooked utility profile, and the format that makes it worth buying is already showing inconsistent stock. Apple cider vinegar has a functionally indefinite shelf life when stored properly. The acidity that defines it is also what preserves it. It does not go bad. It may develop sediment or change appearance, but its functional properties remain intact for years. The supply pressure is specific to format. Gallon jugs of ACV have seen price increases of 40 to 50% over 2 years at major retailers, driven by a combination of apple crop volatility and glass and plastic jug supply chain costs. More meaningfully, gallon format is the one showing the most inconsistent availability. Smaller bottles are still reliably stocked. Large format is the first to go empty and the last to get restocked. The utility case is broader than most people price in. A CV functions as a food preservative, an all-purpose cleaner at full concentration, a digestive aid with documented peer-reviewed evidence, a meat tenderizer, and a core ingredient in shelf-stable pickling that can meaningfully extend the life of fresh produce in any short-term disruption scenario. No other single pantry item covers that range of applications. Gallon format bought now is not an overcorrection. It is the rational response to a price and availability trend already in motion. Number 4. Iodized salt, large format. Salt does not expire. That is not marketing. It is chemistry. Sodium chloride is already a mineral. There is nothing in it that degrades. So why is it on this list? Because the large format supply is tightening in ways that are easy to miss until they are not. Iodized salt specifically, not sea salt, not specialty varieties, has become subject to import dependency that most consumers are unaware of. The US produces significant domestic salt, but the iodization process and the potassium iodate used in it involve a supply chain that includes international chemical suppliers. Any disruption to that chain shifts availability faster than the raw salt supply itself would suggest. More immediately, the 25-pound and 50-pound bags sold through restaurant supply stores and some warehouse clubs have seen price increases and restocking gaps over the past 12 months. Small retail boxes are fine. Bulk format is already less predictable. The nutritional stakes are not theoretical. Iodine deficiency is the leading preventable cause of intellectual disability globally. In a scenario where access to varied food sources is reduced for even a few weeks, iodized salt becomes one of the only reliable iodine sources in a shelf-stable pantry. A 25-pound bag costs under $10 and will last a household of 4 for years. The cost of waiting for it to become unavailable is not proportionate to the cost of buying it now. Number 3. Dried lentils, bulk format. Lentils are nutritionally comparable to beans, cook faster because they require no soaking, and are one of the most calorie and protein-dense shelf-stable foods by weight. They are also facing a supply picture that most shoppers have not tracked. Canada produces roughly 40% of global lentil exports. In 2021, the same heat event that damaged Canadian pulse crops broadly hit lentil yields hard. Production partially recovered in subsequent years, but export volumes have remained below pre-2021 levels. India, the world's largest lentil consumer, has stepped up purchasing of Canadian and Australian lentil supplies, reducing the volume available for US import channels. Small retail bags of lentils are still available and not visibly short. Bulk format, 5 pounds and above, at warehouse pricing is the category showing tightening. Price per pound on bulk lentils has increased roughly 25% since 2022. Sealed in airtight containers, dried lentils last 25 years or more. They require only water and a heat source to prepare. In any extended scenario where pantry function matters, lentils are closer to a foundational staple than an optional addition. The format and the price trend both point in the same direction. Number 2. Canned fish and oil, non-sardine varieties. Sardine and mackerel prices have already moved. That story is documented. The less noticed version of the same structural shift is playing out across the broader canned fish category, specifically anchovies, herring, and smoked oysters. These three products share the same underlying vulnerability as sardines. They depend on wild catch fisheries that are operating under tightening quotas. Anchovy fisheries off the coast of Peru, historically the world's largest source, have faced consecutive seasons of reduced catch limits tied to La Niña-driven oceanographic changes that alter fish distribution and population density. Herring stocks in the North Atlantic are under formal quota reductions from multiple fishery management bodies. Smoked oysters, sourced primarily from Pacific fisheries and Chinese aquaculture operations, have faced supply chain disruption from both climate-related aquaculture losses and trade policy shifts. Each of these products delivers a nutritional profile that is nearly impossible to replicate shelf-stable. High-quality complete protein, dense omega-3 concentration, and significant caloric fat in a format that requires no preparation. Anchovies specifically add a flavor multiplying function similar to bouillon. A single tin dissolved into rice, beans, or cooked grains transforms the meal entirely. Prices across this category are up 30 to 60% depending on the specific product and retailer. Availability in the specialty formats, specifically the oil-packed tins, is already inconsistent in multiple US retail regions. The window on this one is not theoretical. Number 1. Whole wheat flour, sealed format. This is the item that closes the loop on everything else in a functional pantry, and it is quietly becoming one of the more difficult bulk staples to find at reasonable prices. Winter wheat prices have been structurally elevated since the Russian invasion of Ukraine disrupted one of the world's most significant wheat exporting regions. Russia and Ukraine together historically accounted for roughly 30% of global wheat exports. That supply has not been replaced at equivalent volume. Domestic US wheat production has faced its own pressure, with the 2022 and 2023 winter wheat harvest in Kansas and Oklahoma, significantly below historical averages due to drought conditions in the southern plains. Whole wheat flour specifically, not refined white flour, contains the bran and germ that provide fiber, B vitamins, iron, and zinc. In a pantry-dependent scenario, those micronutrients are the ones most likely to go missing from a grain-heavy diet. White flour provides calories. Whole wheat flour provides the nutritional completeness that makes those calories function. The shelf life gap between the two is real. White flour in a sealed container lasts 10 to 15 years. Whole wheat flour, because it retains the oil-containing germ, lasts only 6 to 12 months in standard packaging. Vacuum sealed with an oxygen absorber, that window extends to 3 to 5 years. That packaging step is the difference between a pantry staple and a long-term asset. Large format whole wheat flour at warehouse pricing is already showing gaps. The same structural pressure affecting white rice and oats in bulk format, reduced restocking frequency, margin-driven SKU prioritization, is playing out identically here. Here's what connects all 9. None of them are specialty prepper products. Every single one is a mainstream grocery item with a supply chain that is already under documented pressure. The shortages are not hypothetical. The price increases have already happened. The bulk formats, the ones that actually make long-term storage rational, are the ones disappearing first. The action does not need to be expensive or complicated. On your next 3 shopping trips, add 2 items from this list. 2 items. At a normal grocery budget, that addition is nearly invisible. 3 trips later, you have built a real functional buffer, not out of fear, but out of the same logic you would apply to any other cost you can control before it moves against you. The people who end up paying the least are not the ones who react when shelves are empty and prices have already moved. They are the ones who acted while things still looked fine. That window is right now. Which one are you picking up first? Drop it in the comments. I read everyone. If you want to see the 9 items smart shoppers are buying before prices jump on July 1st, watch the video on the left. And if you want the full breakdown of 11 canned foods people are quietly stocking before they disappear from shelves, watch the video on the right. Don't forget to subscribe.